Recently, the Wall Street Journal reported on a quiet initiative originating from the Pentagon. Defense officials have been reaching out to executives at the largest private manufacturers in the country, specifically companies like Ford and General Motors. Pentagon officials are probing whether these civilian assembly lines can be retrofitted to manufacture large-scale weapons and heavy missile systems. Auto workers responding to the news have pointed out the absurdity of the situation, realizing their daily shifts may soon shift from assembling family SUVs to building long-range munitions. Converting civilian automotive infrastructure into an extension of the Defense Department signals a mobilization typically reserved for sustained, high-intensity warfare. The last time the United States directed the private sector toward defense manufacturing at this scale was during the transition to a total war economy in the 1940s. Yet the public diplomatic stance suggests the opposite. The U.S. government is currently projecting that a permanent ceasefire in the Middle East, specifically involving Iran, is likely and imminent. The state is facilitating ceasefire negotiations in public while simultaneously rebuilding an industrial base geared for a major conflict. Bureaucratic updates are also being made to the Selective Service System, clearing the way for the government to more efficiently call up American civilians if needed. These logistical actions create a misalignment between domestic policy and global diplomacy. To find the logic behind it, we have to look at the broader Western alliance. The immediate catalyst for this pressure on the manufacturing sector is a depleted arsenal. Supply lines have been stretched thin by years of supporting the front lines in Ukraine and maintaining a presence in the Middle East. This pivot isn't limited to the United States. It is occurring simultaneously across allied nations. The United Kingdom is raising its defense spending to 3.5% of its GDP, with government officials warning the public to prepare for shortages of consumer goods as the economy shifts priorities. The European Union has increased its own defense spending by 60%, citing a need to prepare for direct aggression from Russia. These parallel shifts in the US, UK, and EU suggest a coordinated effort to prepare the Western alliance for a prolonged period of military engagement. Russian intelligence has its own theory regarding the current US diplomatic efforts with Iran. Moscow has officially claimed that the ceasefire negotiations are a time-delaying tactic designed to buy the US a window of opportunity. They point to the deployment of 10,000 additional US troops to the Middle East, while the peace talks are still ongoing. The push into civilian factories allows the military to replenish its stock of heavy munitions, which would be essential for any new ground operations. From the Kremlin's perspective, these logistical maneuvers suggest the United States is preparing for a ground-level intervention in Iran. If this analysis is correct, the diplomatic talks provide a necessary window for the industrial engines of the West to restart and catch up to the reality of the front lines. Figures like Elon Musk suggest the current trajectory of global tensions makes a significant conflict likely within the next 5 to 10 years. This is the result of colliding interests, where the geopolitical boundaries of the West, Russia, and Iran overlap in ways that diplomacy can no longer easily untangle. A full-scale ground operation would carry a high cost in American lives and strain the national economy to its limits. In military planning, these short-term costs are often weighed against the objective of securing long-term influence in a contested region. While treaties and words can be used to obscure intent, physical industrial supply chains are much harder to hide. Regardless of the outcome of current peace talks, the factories have already received their new orders. A government cannot prepare for a conflict of this scale in total secrecy, because moving the private sector into a war footing requires making those preparations public. The shift toward a war economy is already visible on the assembly line. The only remaining question is when these weapons will be required.